What's up, guys? I really just wanted to look at some balis and ramble a little bit. Um, Talk about like some tuning stuff. I just got this hydro right before Christmas. Um, got the full length spacers for it because I figured that would just make it feel more to my preferences. I got new hardware and stuff, tuned it up. At first, and new bushings. I had to get new bushings. I used a I used a digital caliper to measure the bushings for this one when I tuned it. I don't own one. I need to get my own, but I used somebody else's. Um, but yeah, so like when I got this thing, it's like it just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel tight. It didn't feel like it flipped right. As you can see, I still got, there's a little bit of play, but not much at all. I don't mind just a tad bit of play. I actually think most balis flip better with a little bit of wiggle room. Um, but yeah, it feels pretty good now. I'm happy with how it feels now. It flips good. I've been flipping it a lot. Uh, just getting used to it, to its balance. Um, I really enjoy it. I like it. I like the shorter length of it. I really want to try a machine-wise Tatori because they're a little shorter and thinner too. Yeah, I got a sick ano and laser job on this dude. I really like it. I got it from a guy on Instagram. Is it Adam? Adam flips like shit or something like that. Pretty sure that's him. But yeah, so got the hydro together. Really like it. Enjoy it. He sold it to me at a great price. Couldn't pass it up because I've wanted one for a while now. I just love the ano too. The ano with the laser pattern, with the blue, the gold ultim. It just looks really good together. Over here closer in the light. It's crazy, number 23. The Galvanus I bought was number 23. It's my Galvanus. Pretty much in mint condition. Honestly, I like the kukri. This is my only kukri blade. But I honestly wish I would have got the Tanto. Just because, from what I hear, that it flips the best. The kukri blade is his heaviest blade, which is funny because you wouldn't think that the kukri would be his heaviest blade, but I asked him and apparently it is the heaviest one. It flips alright. It flips pretty good. It's not like unbalanced or even so much blade heavy or too blade heavy, so to speak. It's the balance is decent, but I feel like the Tanto would just flip a little bit better for me. Actually wouldn't mind selling this dude to try to fund another bally. Yeah, cause you can see when you fan it, it wants to. I mean, it fans decent, but it's just got like a little bit of wobble to it. The other main thing I wanted to talk about is my Serif. Okay, so I got my custom Serif when he put up the configurator last year. This is not the blade that came on it. I got it with a regular Serif blade. I put my Opus blade on here. But even when I got it, this is the Serif blade that came on it. I put it on my Sliff T handles. They're such beautiful ballad songs. But yeah, I don't know, like, it just never felt right from day one. It just didn't feel right. Like, it had, like, way too much play. And, I was like, what is going on here? So, I took it apart, put the daggum Opus blade on it, to see if that would help. Didn't really help. So I bought some new hardware, completely changed out its hardware, and I thought I'd fixed it, but that didn't do it either. So I took new bushings, sanded them down, put the new bushings on here and tried to get it, and it's like it got a little bit closer, but it's just still, I don't know what the deal is. I've asked a couple people. I also briefly messaged Dalen about it when he was still taking DMs on Instagram, and he was nice enough to send me some more hardware for it, because I thought that would solve the issue. He suggested just sending it in for a warranty and a tune or whatever, but I was sure that just changing out the hardware and doing that would solve the issue. Like I was pretty sure I could fix it, but I don't know. I just really don't like, this is not, these pivots are not cranked down. The play is a lot better now, though. That's what I was saying. Like, I got it a little bit. This is where it should be, as far as the play goes. It actually bounces now. Like, it didn't even bounce before. Like, it just kind of did, like, kind of that, and just stopped real, there was, just wasn't tight enough to bounce. But now, you can kind of hear it. It's way better than it was, that's for sure. But it's just like it's what do you call it? It's like catching, or like, yeah, it's like slightly like binding or something. See, like it's you just have to feel it, but it's like it just doesn't have the free swing that it should. And I don't know, I've sat here and worked it. See there, it kind of flipped, but it still like stops. It's like you can feel the tension on it. It just like stops there. And that's the thing, these pivots aren't even cranked down. Like, they're literally pretty loose, honestly. Like, I just tightened it just enough to have the screw stay in, and it's still catching like that. And that was the problem beforehand as well. It did the same thing with the other bushings and the other washers. No matter how tight I put it or how loose I put it, it still kind of acts that way. And, I flipped it enough and switched out the hardware enough and stuff. I feel like, in a way it should be, broken in or whatever by now. Like, it should be right. Like, unfortunately, this is the only Serif I've ever held, so I don't know you know, what another one feels like. I don't really know what a prime one is supposed to feel like. You know, because my Opus, it's perfect. See, I put the Swift T blade on here and didn't even have to do anything to the bushings or the hardware or anything, and it's rock solid, man. I mean, it's rock solid, dude. It flips great. You can feel it. It sounds great. If I could dadgum do it. Yeah, see, like, you know, it's got, like, it's just, the swing is way freer. It's just, it doesn't bind. It doesn't feel like, see, it doesn't feel like my Serif does. See, it's like it binds and it just takes the blade with it. Not all the time. But it also, you know, I mean, that's just a little bit, see, you know, and this is even a little bit better than it was because the pivots are literally loose, you know. And that's another thing Dalen said too. He was like, you know, he's like, these things are rated for a ton of torque, you know. That's why it's T15. Steel washers. You know, he was just like cranked down on that dude. You know, he was like, you can't crank it as hard as we send them out from the shop. And I'm like, you know, why does it have to be that way? Why does it have to be that dadgum tight to work anyway? Or you know, if it's like, if he's saying to make it that tight, but I have it this loose and it still has binding issues and swing issues, it's like, you know, tightening the pivots is just going to make it worse. That's not going to help it. So I thought about just sending it to him and have him check it out and see, you know, if there's some other issue I'm not realizing, or if I'm just an idiot. I don't really know. Like, you know, it feels okay now. Like I said, you can hear the bounce on it. You know, it definitely feels way better than it did, without a doubt. You know, it just still doesn't have complete free swing like I feel like it should, or something. You know, I know I'm not crazy, because the same thing, like I was just saying, the same thing with my Hydro when I got it. You know, granted it was second hand, but, you know, I just knew that it didn't feel right. So I got new hardware and everything else and fixed it up and been flipping it, and now it feels great. Like, I know it feels like how it should. I don't know. Just, you know, I just like to get some close-ups too. I feel like people don't do enough close-up comparisons and stuff like that, you know. Because it's like, yeah, you can look at the measurements online, but seeing it is really what helps people, you know, make a decision. You can see how much shorter the Hydro is than a Serif in handle length and in blade length. If you line the pivots up, you can kind of see it too. It's shorter on the blade and shorter handles. It's about the same thickness though. The Serif has a taper though. You know, it tapers this way and gets smaller at the top here, but it's not by much. Oh, that reminds me, looking at it this way, this is the only other thing going on with the Serif that I'm just like, you know, I don't really know what the deal is. But there is like a gap between the handles there that is like, in my opinion, too big. Like, is it, that's another reason why I kind of wanted to, bring that up. Maybe you can see it better like this through the light. Yeah. I mean, and it goes all the way almost down to the pivot. And it's like, why is the hole that big? The space. Is everybody else's like that? Like, is that normal? Like, I'm genuinely asking. Like, I know Dalen brought it up in some posts, like last year at some point or something, talking about it and acknowledging it. But yeah, so you can really see it there. And the crazy thing is if you grab the end of the handles here and here with both your hands and just squeeze a little bit, that hole closes. I mean, it flexes close. I don't know if I'll be able to demonstrate that here, but yeah, you can see it a little bit. See that? No pressure. Pressure. No pressure. Pressure. And it closes. And it's like, what the heck, and that's another thing I thought that maybe would improve a little bit with the pivots being tightened down a whole lot. But it doesn't change that gap at all. So yeah, it's more of just like, I'm just curious to hear what other people think. And like I said, is that normal? Is your Serif like that? Let me know. Does anybody have any advice for me as far as what I could do about this dude without having to send it in? Like I said, because, I don't want to send it in because I know it'll take forever. Like, it will just take too long. They're just too busy over there with Sonoras and Mojaves or whatever. So it's just like, I don't want to send it in and wait 6 weeks to get it back. Like, if somebody can just tell me how to fix it, that's what I'm saying. I can do it. I have all the tools except a caliper, which I'm going to get one. So, and I'll have that too. There's no reason that I shouldn't be able to do it. Because that's what I'm saying. The Slift T, my Slift T configuration and my Opus configuration, great, perfect. Switch the blades around. Boom, boom, bam. Worked no problem, no issues. It's just the Serif. And the blade worked good on here. And this blade worked good on there. So it's like something makes me think it's these handles. It's the Serif handles themselves that has an issue. I'm not really sure. But yeah, as far as my collection, this is my collection. Pretty modest. I have the 3 machine-wise balis, my Galvanis, my newly added Hydro, Swifty. I got a Tanto Blim Kraken. This was my first live blade. Not super beat, but it's loved. This is actually my neighbor's Nautilus. He let me borrow because I've never flipped one, so I wanted to borrow it and flip it around and see how I liked it. And it's not bad, but it's just not for me. The balance is just not for me. I don't like the handle bias nature of it. They're beautiful though, and they feel good. Like, they feel good in the hands, like that G10. It's the first time I've ever flipped a G10 Bally or whatever. Yeah, they're super pretty though. The tang pin action. But yeah, so that's not mine. He let me hold this, and I let him hold my V2 Prisma. It's just a V2 Prisma Pro. He's flipping that over there. And I got, this is Obviously, original V1 Prisma. I actually have two freshy silver V1 handles that I got during the summer. I'd really like to find some kind of blade and get a hardware kit, make something, either another trainer, or if I can get a live blade that'll fit, I can do that. The only other thing that I have, or actually two other things, I have a Super Beat Squiddy, which rips, by the way. The Squiddy, in my opinion, the balance of the Squiddy feels better to me than almost like anything. I wish I could, I really wish that I could find a live blade or another Bally that has kind of the same flipping profile as the Squiddy. That's why I was really interested in the Hydro, because I was like, oh, it's shorter too. Like, it has kind of the same dimensions, you know, it's in the same length category or whatever. And then alternatively, the Swordfish. I also have this black Swordfish. I have another beat teal one as well, but it's like super beat. It's almost done for. Shit. The Swordfish, in my opinion, is super, super underrated. Like, this thing flips so good, it's ridiculous. That's why I bought another one. But yeah, that's if I had to say what my two favorite flipping trainers were, I mean, just, you know, sorry, brain fart, but I would definitely 100% say the Swordfish and the Squiddy, with the Prisma V1 kind of being right next to them as far as what my favorite is. Yeah, I mean, they just flip so well. I actually have really come to enjoy the Hydro as well. Since I've had it, flips really good. I like its balance and the shorter nature of it too. Like I said, obviously really like the Serif. I wish I could flip it more. Well, I can flip it more, but I just like, if something's wrong, like I don't want to damage it and like, or you keep flipping it and like lap the blade or whatever they say, you know, I don't know. I don't really know how that works, but so I don't flip it a ton, you know, since I've been working on it. I worked on it last night and still didn't feel like it was right. So that's partially why I'm even making this video, was to ask people about this and what they think. This guy feels super good actually though too. I mean, this lift T blade on the Opus, no weights and no weights. It's very, the balance is kind of unique. It's a little bit different. It's like got this weird handle bias thing, or it's got more like weight towards the end of the handles, obviously. But it's still like balanced really well. Like, it's super light and it flips good. Like, it doesn't feel really funky. You know, it actually feels good. So really love that. But as far as what I think is the most competitive flipper and what I flip the best is the Swordfish and the Squiddy, and recently the Hydro. You know, I mean, I flip my Kraken decently too, but since I've been flipping this a lot, I don't know, it just makes the Kraken feel weird to me again. I don't know. But yeah, thanks guys. If y'all made it this far, or made it to the Serif, let me know, like I said, what you think about it. If you have any advice for me. And, you know, maybe I'll make a couple more long form videos comparing more Bally's and talking or whatever. Just trying to make more content in general. I actually have a couple folders and stuff in here too. I got some hardware, some little special things. I'll show you all that next time. But